Good evening, everyone, and I welcome you all to the Wildflowers of India session again. So, we will have a couple of minutes for other participants to join, and later on, we will start the session. It will be as usual, like after 40 minutes, you will have to again rejoin the session. And yeah, today we will be learning more about the identification of wildflowers and how the invasive species have taken over all the areas. So at the end, we will also have the discussion part. You can keep all your questions to the end.
Hi everyone. You can see the slide, right?
Yes, yes. Hi. So I'll just give 1 minute more for the people to join, like the
Okay.
participants to join. So I can start. Can you try moving your slides and check for one time, please?
Yep.
Are you moving the slides?
See them, right?
I can see the Wildflowers of India slide. Yeah, yeah. Now I can see the invasive ones. So, Madhi,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have given enough time. I'll be allowing the participants to join in between as well. So you can take over the session. Over to you.
Okay. So today the main topic is- I'm going to talk about is the invasive plants. So this is actually a depressing topic for the plants because yesterday you would have seen many beautiful plants. Lots of everything is native, and the invasive plants they are creeping in and taking over that their habitat. So actually, what is an invasive plant is anything from not a native to our country to this habitat, anything it's coming that has come from other regions like South America, North America, Chile, Argentina, from any other countries it would have come. So here in this photo you can see this angel trumpet flower in Kodaikanal kind of areas, in high altitude areas, in lots of places you can see this plant. May look so beautiful for the tourist and everyone's eye, this plant. But this kind of this trumpet flower, it's in Chile. It's in the native is Chile, and in that particular area, it's extinct in wild. But it has spread all over the world, and it's existing in as a invasive plant in other countries. Because it was sold as ornamental plants. It's still you can get them in nurseries and everything, and there are many cultivars are available. But the actual original one, that can be seen that was seen in the wild was extinct. So lots of people may think that the plant, anyway, it's a plant that is having some beautiful flowers. What is the problem with that? So let it be there. So even because instead of some concrete jungle, we are having some plants. Something is there, and anyway, there will be some uh, like some insects, some bees or butterflies will be using that. So what is the problem with that? It doesn't stop with that. Actually, the invasive plants they start spreading very aggressively because in birds and butterflies, you don't see lots of invasive species in other countries. We have this rock pigeon, that's a feral pigeon, and even that sparrows are said not the native one. They are but that is not a huge menace in our country. In other places, in some places there will be like mynas and parakeets are considered invasive in other countries and few other countries. They are creating so much menace, and they are killing the native ones like that. But in our country, actually, that was not a big problem. Like in butterflies also, you don't get to see any invasive species or anything. But when you see get into this fishes or any insects, no, you will see lots of invasive species because they can multiply rapidly. They can produce like thousands of eggs at the same time, and once they come in, that's it. You cannot stop them. That's a problem. So similar to this, these invasive plants, and we have another word called weeds. Weeds, no, in agricultural land, everything. When you don't need a plant in the particular place, like in the garden or in the agricultural field, if you don't want that plant, then it is called as weed. That can even be a native one. So that is a different thing from the invasive plant. Invasives are totally shouldn't be in that place. They are totally from other countries and other habitats. They are spreading violently, aggressively in our local places, and sometimes it gets very naturalized. You are so used to that plants in your area. You will even have so many local names for that particular plant, and like this eclipta, as a false daisy will have that. You can see everywhere, and in Tamil you will have the name as karisalangani, and that is used for this bingraj, that is used for this hair oil and everything. So initially when I heard that, I thought that is a native one, that's why we started using it. But that is not a native one, but we are so used to it. It's in our place everywhere, so we have started using them, and it's become one of them. And even all the fruiting trees like guava, sapota, everything, nothing is our native one. Everything is from some other countries, but we have started using them regularly. That became we are so used to that as a native one. So this kind of plants mostly we would have brought them as ornamental plant or for agricultural purposes. That's why it would have come inside. So some plants I have seen like Cuban buttercup. There is one plant I have seen in few places in Madras, Chennai outskirts, and a few other places. And this tawny coastal butterfly that has taken that as a host plant, but that is not a native one. That plant has taken that plant, and you can see always can see that butterflies is closely flying over that plant. So and that plant is also not spreading aggressively. So when you see that kind of plant, it's not a major issue. But here you can see this water hyacinth. Once that is inside a water body, you cannot remove it at all, because the seeds, the way they spread it, um, we have seen in many projects, many people were trying to remove that. They will bring the bulldozers and they will completely remove the plants and everything. But after a few months, once the water comes in, again you will see the same floating vegetation, because they thrive in that polluted water. And all our water bodies are most of our water bodies in India are polluted, so they can thrive easily in our places. Once this comes in, the water has still fish life also in that water. So when there is fish and not that birds, water is also counted in this life. That is the kind of trouble we are getting with invasive plants. So in and it's lots of invasive plants are there, and
Madhi will be rejoining.
Sorry, got disconnected. Uh, Once it said that water body, not remove it at
Um,
all.
we cannot
So
see
similar to
your
this,
PPT. The presentation is not seen.
cannot
Like,
see the people.
no, no.
See now it. Keeps on. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but the presentation is not seen. Can anybody see the presentation? Yeah, now it is seen. Now we can see your
Okay.
screen.
The amount. I hope the next will be still now.
But it is still in the wildflowers. Can you please go to the slide where you were explaining?
Not seeing, you're not seeing the slide, right?
Now we can see the slide.
Now you can see the slide. Okay. So you said here you can see this Parthenium field, and this has brought us the agricultural field in when they brought this wheat. When they brought this wheat during that this plant came along with that, and now you can see this Parthenium in most of the agricultural fields. So the fields that are left unused also, it's completely covered with Parthenium. This can cause even skin rashes and everything. So even near your houses and everywhere, you can start seeing this plant now. So similar to this, there are so many plants. Each should have come for different reasons. Like eucalyptus, you can see that the government itself would have planted in many places. And another plant is that a mesquite plant that has that you can see from almost in all over India and all the dry places. Even till Gujarat, you can see that place entirely covering the roadsides. So in that places, no, those kind of dry places, once that has come, you cannot remove it at all. So almost all the forest edges and the roadsides, whatever you are seeing, most of the plants are invasive plants. So how you will find that whether that is an invasive plant? Most of the plant that they will be they will be forming an aggressive homogeneous plants. They will be that a single mat will be completely covered with that plant, and they'll be very aggressive, so they'll be spreading a lot, and by the feel of it you will be start seeing that they are invasive. So nowadays, any rural areas and urban areas, outskirts, most of the plants are invasive plants. Only in the protected areas, whatever you see, most of the plants will be native and endemic plants. And but when you say that everything is invasive, it's not like that. Among the invasive, huge invasive plants, there will be few native plants also. So the steps to find is that first you have to find the name of the plant. Once you find the name of the plant, then you will get to know the origin of the plant, whether that is a native one or it has come from some other places. So yeah, if you start using this iNaturalist app, there you can see that invasive plants, the list of the invasive plants, and for some most of the plants, it will be mentioned at the top itself. It's an invasive. So with that, you can start knowing whether that is an invasive plant. And recently, there is a project called Mapping Invasive Alien Plants also in iNaturalist. So you can you can look at that, and you will know that is an invasive plant. So the main impact of this invasive plant is that no, they are, most of them won't be edible for our native wildlife. So in Kanyakumari district, there is a plant called Mucuna bracteata, that is a creeper that is spreading so widely that thousands of hectares are already covered with that plant. So in our NGO, that is one of the main work. We are trying to remove that plant, and we are replacing it with that native trees. But that is a huge work. We can't do it as a single organization. That also, we are a very young organization. We cannot do it alone. So that is a core Western Ghats Agastya Malai region. We have so many endemic plants, but this one creeper is covering like acres of area. Even from a distance, you will know that particular area is completely covered with that creeper. But for public people, no, they won't know the difference. They will think that as a another greenery area, and there's lots of photo shoots are happening over that place, and everyone is thrilled to see those kind of places. But in reality, that particular plant is not edible for any wildlife. So even though you think that is a greenery and it's a forest area, it is not used actually by the wild animals. So they will have to walk to some other place to find their food. So that's a kind of situation in many places. So in Kanyakumari, the lantana is not a huge menace, but this Mucuna bracteata is a huge menace. When you can see in Ooty and all, there is a plant called the orange crystal. Recently, I have been there and I saw that the entire Ooty was covered by that plant. But it has a beautiful orange flower, and I read that as brought it as ornamental plant. So now it has spread through the whole area. But people just going as there as a tourist, no, they will think that some beautiful plant is there all over and it's full bloom. And most of these plants, no, they will be producing lots of seeds, so it will be always in bloom. Lantana and all, you can see that the plant is always in bloom. So people will think that's a beautiful flower, and even now the lots of forest department and government is planting that lantana camera for this butterfly gardens, because butterflies are using that as a nectaring plant. So even now, after all this awareness, they are still planting that plant. So from our side, what we can do for this kind of invasive plant is that whenever you see them, and if it's near your places, no, If you are in the apartment inside that, I don't think you'll be seeing that. But if you are in other areas outside your houses and nearby plots, if you start seeing them, you can remove them by your hand itself. Plant Parthenium and it's a simple plant, but still, even if you uproot it multiple times, they will keep on coming. And you can start uh, throwing some native seeds. You can collect native plant seeds, and you can start sowing them, and by that way you can slowly you can start removing this invasive plants, anything you will see near your places. And like I said, there are few NGOs that they are trying to do this work by removing these invasive plants. But it's a very, very huge work, and it's a multi-year project. But if there is time, and if you can do something, no, you can contribute to that NGOs, your time, the volunteering effort. And another important thing is, once we get to know these kind of issues, and then we should stop buying these exotic plants from the nurseries or from anywhere, because they won't stop selling that. That is a monetary policy, monetary process. They will be continuously doing it, because even after all the awareness about these red ear slider and turtles and fishes, that is creating a lots of issues in this lakes and ponds, these tilapia and all other exotic fishes. Still, people, they are selling it everywhere, and people also used to that. So if we don't want to create any issues, no, we should stop buying these kind of exotic plants and planting it on our garden. So this is a project I was saying in this iNaturalist. You can see that already it's mentioned that 226 species are an invasive species, but still these are the most of them are, I think, they have kept it as flowering species. Nowadays, I am seeing lots of ferns also spreading, invasive ferns rapidly spreading inside the forest areas. Even in the core areas like Eravikulam National Park in Munnar, I am seeing a few ferns that are spreading, and you don't get to see even the Kurunji flowers like we used to do before. Even those plants are getting removed by this aggressive ferns. So here you can see that regular plants, whatever you are seeing in your regular sites, like the sensitive plant, Mimosa pudica, no, we are so much used to that touch me not. From your childhood, you would be so used to this kind of plant. We don't know that that is from that is an invasive one. So, and this Parthenium I told about, this Tridax daisy and all, most of all the butterflies started using this Tridax daisy for nectaring. So we will think that is an native plant, but that is not a native one. And this mesquite, I was saying, no, Juliflora. So that is another one. And this trailing daisy, I am in Kanyakumari district. I am seeing them everywhere, and people thinking that as that false daisy, that another plant, and they are spreading false information about this plant in videos, I think, and they are selling these plants, saying that as a medicinal plant and everything. So it's false information about false information, and everything becoming a mess. But this is a real big invasive plant, and this also brought us a garden plant. And the siam weed also, it's inside the forest area itself, can see lots of places completely covered with this siam weed. So this is also not edible, and these once that particular place is occupied with these plants, no, that's it, you cannot remove them easily. And another one plant recently I'm seeing, this is this one, says that American mint, and this one also I am seeing in many forest areas. They are also spreading rapidly. So this is one thing that I initially, just to say it in that, initially when I started seeing the wildflowers, I was so happy that because that has opened a new world. It's a um, colorful world. Everywhere you can see wildflowers. So, and but once you start gaining knowledge about that, and after a few years, now I am saying everywhere invasive, invasive, invasive. So sometimes I'll be I'm so depressed to see that already that most of the plants I see are invasive. So what's going to happen in the next 5 years or 10 years, like that? But then after very depressing, sometimes I don't even have the mind to search for the wildflowers. But then once we go inside the forest areas, no, after a few patches of invasive plants, then you get to see that one rare plant that is still thriving and that own habitat. Once you see that plant, no, then you will think that we have to protect this one. Still there are many endemic and endangered flowers are there, so we have to protect them. So hopefully these invasives should be could be stopped in some way, some miraculous way, and we can stop the spread and we can protect these native plants, or somehow that nature will find its way to protect themselves, and these invasive plants will have some limit, and the nature ones, the native ones will be protected automatically. Even a few days back, I went to this one trail in Kanyakumari Wildlife Sanctuary, and I saw a very rare endemic plant. It is a Henkelia miscinonis that is available only within a 10 square kilometer. Only 12 plants are available totally. So when you see that kind of plants, no, okay, there are something existing like that. We have to protect this kind of plants. So that is the thing. That is the one motivating, that even after seeing all these kind of invasive plants. So is that a wildflower walk? So how do we do our wildflower walk? Generally, the wildflower walks are like we said. Most of the wildflowers can be seen closely only when you start walking. When you are in a rush, even birds, you can see it in a different way. You can go and set your cameras and wait for a day and shoot the particular birds, whatever comes around you. But for plants, you have to travel. They are in a different habitat. You have to travel a lot for the plants, and especially only when you walk, you will start seeing all the little flowers and the little plants, many camouflaged ones. So the walking is the best way to see them. But in some places where you can't do the walk, no, even going in that vehicle slowly, uh, keeping your eyes open on the roadsides, suddenly you will start seeing a huge patch of flowers. Even in this particular photo, no, that rock crevices and everything, this kind of wet rocky areas, you will start seeing this balsam utricularia river. So once you know that habitat, no, you will start seeing it automatically, and there will be some patch of flowers. Immediately, will stop the vehicle and click the photographs of that plants and everything. So that is one way to do initially when you go to some places where you can't do the walking. And then initially you can do in whatever places you live, no, nearby areas, wherever you live, there will be at least some 10 wildflowers you can see year round. Some flowers you will be start seeing that. So initially visit those, record those flowers, and then once you are get that interest to see more wildflowers, no, so then you can start visiting this forest edges. In the forest edges, there will be another set of wildflowers. Like I said, nowadays most are invasive, but still you will be getting to see some native flowers amidst that, and you will start recording them. You can start recording invasive or native, whatever that, you can start recording them. And then once you get to that, and if you have that opportunity to visit the core areas, don't miss it at all. You go for a long trek or a drive inside the forest, anything, and the right season. Anywhere you go, you will start seeing some beautiful wildflowers. So that is the way to start seeing the wildflowers. So initially you can see that big patches of wildflowers and that is in bloom, and then you can start searching for that specific wildflower if you want to see something rare or some small, very small one or anything. Initially that big blooms, even though there'll be particular very visible in particular places, there you can visit and start seeing the wildflowers. And it comes the basic identification. How you start identifying a particular plant. Oh, previously, when we even 15 years back, nowadays is a old thing because at that time we don't have this phone, Android phone or anything, so we don't have these apps or anything to identify the flowers. So we have to refer all the books and do the identification. In India, there is not a huge book for any simple collection. Maybe for a region wise, we will be having like for Himalayan flora. If you ever some local books, you'll be getting some, and then for like for Western Ghats and like there's separately we'll be having few books. I have some compendium also, but most of them are very botanical related, very much there'll be the whole description is you have to know a lots of botanical words like that. The simple layman terms books, that means that's a very common books, very common wildflowers like that. So I am yet to see a good book of wildflowers, but I have some few that's interesting websites like this flowersofIndia.net. That is a very good website for initial identifications. And then now you have this iNaturalist app. They will identify this common wildflowers. Maybe there's endemic ones, Western Ghats or Himalayan ones, they don't identify it properly, but the common wildflowers, whatever you see in the near urban areas, that will be easily identified, that can be easily identified using this app. So nowadays wherever we go, we will be always having this our phone. So the mobile phone is enough for this taking photographs of for flowers, because for birds and everything other things we need cameras, but for flowers we mobile is enough, so we can photograph everything and start identifying them using these apps. And sea flora, and there are a few Facebook groups also, Indian flora and everything. So once you start posting them, there will be some experts will be giving identification for that. And once you get to know that basic identification, then you'll start learning the names easily. So the initial method is that using these things, simple identification, and then to start identifying yourself, you can observe these kind of things first. Initially, observe the color and the shape of the flower, then the leaf of the plant and the seeds. Check the seeds also. There will be variety of seeds. Once you start looking at this different parts of the plants, you will be amazed to see that equally that for the wildflowers, the leaf shapes and the seed pods also will be very amazing. There will be so many varieties of seed pods. So based on that also you can identify that family level, you can identify this is that particular variety like that. And then the habitat of the plant. So even though I have this Henkelia stoneflower in Western Ghats, we have the same in Himalayas also. So I can't say some may look very similar. So something will be in that particular location only. So based on that, I can get to that genus level identification, species level identification. Based on the habitat, I can do that. So here you can see that few flower shapes. So the basic is this. The first one, this one is that bilateral symmetrical. So you can see that if you cut it in the middle half, in this side, left side and right side, both will be looking exactly similar. So few flowers will be in that kind, and few flowers will be radially symmetrical. The second one. So the basic flower shapes, you can see this. So some are very simple, just 4 petals like this cruciform. And next is that like this daffodils, no coronet. So this crown like we can see in our milkweed family. Uh, all the most of the milkweed flowers, you'll be having this crown like structure in the flowers. So if you see that once you start seeing them, no, you know that belongs to that milkweed family. And you can see this campanulate, that's a bell shaped, and that comes under the family Campanulaceae. So that is all comes under the bell shape. If this is a this kind of bell shape, you can say that is a Campanulaceae family, and then you can check, start seeing that whatever genus that comes under the family, and then you can start categorizing like that way. You can see this funnel form, this funnel trumpet. Mostly we all have this morning glory. Most of the plants will be in this shape. So when you see this one, you can start saying that okay, this is so. Initially, you can start with this common flowers, whatever you see them daily, every day, whatever flowers you see, you can start identifying them like this. So yesterday we were talking about this aster, and this is the way that aster looks. It will be that strap-like petals, ligulate, many compositae. That is the one aster. The center will be this. Pollens will be in the center, and there will be disc array like format, and that all the petals will be in this format. The star shaped, this will be in the lily, and the urn shaped, that heather, no, this urn shaped, many Himalayan flowers will be in this format. There will be thick leaf, thick flowers, that petals and that sepal, no, they will be very thick for that withstanding the winter weather. So next one, you can see this butterfly-like form. No, this is that Fabaceae. You can see this P variety. Lots will be in this shape, and that hooded helmet variety. You can see the nettles. So even in our places, there will be lots of nettle. So that nettle flowers, if you see, everything will be in this shape. And this one is a slipper orchid. The slipper orchid is a very unique shape. So that's that calceolate, and the tubulate, that has a cigar form, no, you can see that. So once you describe the plants like this, no, next one is that poppy, and that bowl shaped buttercup. So that buttercups will be mostly in that buttercup, you can say. And then buttercup, there will be many genus, many species will be there, so you can find from that one. So first you can identify from these shapes. So like I said, then with that shapes, then you can identify the family, and with that family level, then you can classify to genus, and then you can go into that species level. So here I'm saying about this aster family. Yesterday we are discussing about this aster and orchids. No, so here you can see this aster. So the inflorescence looks like this, and the seed pods, no, there will be mostly the hairs on top. You'll be blowing them, no, they'll be all flying in the air. So those kind of seed pods will be distinctive, and you can say that is an aster.